for a couple of minutes. Let me take these off. You know, I lost my glass, or I misplaced my glasses the other day, so I had to find these. I don't even know where these readers came from. But anyway, I'm Russell of Hotels. I do these lives every Monday through Friday. Happy Tuesday to you today. Why am I going live today? Well, today at 1 o'clock, California time, I'm in Los Angeles. It is time for On Air with Russell of Hotels, right? So that's my live hospitality talk show. Comes on every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is here in California or in LA where I'm located. So I want to come on and tell you guys that. I can't even speak. What do I talk about? Everything hospitality, hotels specifically, tourism, tourism boards, tourism, just everything tourism. And then what about that non-meat eats? I'm all about non-meat eats. I don't eat meat, so I call them hashtag non-meat eats, right? So I'll talk a little bit about that as well. I always have a little segment, letting people know the last, restaurant I went to with non-meat eats or something that I prepared myself or whatever. So I always want to make sure I share that information with people just in case, you want to try something different, right? I've been a meat eater all my life, right? And then 4 years ago, I said, you know what? Well, no, let me take that back. I've been a meat eater up until about 12, 13 years ago. Then I became a vegetarian. And then 4 years ago, I became a plant-based eater or a non-meat eats eater, meaning I don't eat meats. Some people say vegan, whatever. My whole lifestyle is not vegan. Is just my diet is vegan, if that makes sense to you. It makes sense to anyone. But anyway, so those are stuff I'll talk about today. Not a lot into the non-meat eats, but I'll let you know where I ate and what I thought about the food at this particular restaurant. I was in Tennessee last week, in Nashville specifically, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Nashville as a destination, hotels, and just the overall experience, right? I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. I'll definitely say that because I had never been there before, and I don't think I even heard of anything about Nashville, right? Other than country music is that's where it comes from, or is prevalent there, and it definitely is. It definitely has a huge footprint on anything in that area, but that's cool though. But there's something else there that a lot of people don't even know, and in fact, I didn't even know, but I'll mention it today. So make sure you guys tune in today, 1 o'clock, On Air with Russell of Hotels live. It's live only on YouTube and LinkedIn with the replay on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Okay, so there you go. So what will I talk about today? Let's see. Nashville's very, you know what? I didn't see that. I'm sorry, Dylan. I know that was from you, Dylan. And I'm always about, checking out the comments, but I didn't see the comment, right? I don't have my glasses on today because I misplaced my glasses. My sister picked me up from the airport when I came from Nashville the other day on Sunday night, and my glasses, I guess I put them down in her car, and so that's where they are. They're with her. So I don't have my glasses. But anyway, that's okay. But thank you, Dylan, for the comment. I do appreciate whatever it said. I'll read it later. But yeah, what will I speak of today? I stayed in this hotel called the Drury Plaza, okay? Drury Plaza. Now, it's a chain, right? But it's not a chain here. We don't have them, I don't believe, in California. They're more, there's one in Santa Fe, New Mexico. There's some in the South, like some southern states, maybe some Midwestern states, but they're not here in California. So a lot of people probably would think they were an independent hotel, but no, they are a chain. So I stayed in one of those hotels, a Drury Plaza, which is downtown Nashville, right across from like the Omni's next to it, the JW Marriott is over there, the Embassy Suites. I mean, there's so many hotels, so many major hotels there in Nashville. I can see why they're taking some market share from a lot of the, say, tier one convention cities or convention towns that we think are convention city or convention towns. Like, Vegas is number one, of course. And then you got Chicago, you got New Orleans, you got New York, LA. I don't even know where LA is in that. You got San Diego, you got Orange County. LA is in there somewhere. LA is a first tier city, but their infrastructure there they're looking for conventions. You can tell that's why the downtown is built around the convention center. I mean, you got hotels that are still coming on board there. You got every major hotel, nice hotels. You got a convention center that's well over 1.2 million square feet. Did you know LA's convention center is only 750,000 square feet? So meaning that hotel, I mean, that our convention space or LA's convention center will fit into the music center, the Music City Center in Nashville. Just a little, something to think about. And then we wonder why we don't get the business that we're supposed to get. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's that's another conversation for another time. And that's not my fight to fight, but it's just my fight. It's just my thing to talk about, right? So there you go. But anyway, but no, I was pleasantly surprised about Nashville. I think they do a great job. The music, when you talk about Music City, it's definitely Music City. Music going on all day, all night long. And I don't just mean music they're playing on their, you know, CDs or whatever people play. What do they use now? Is it CDs now? I don't know, MP3s, whatever. I mean live bands playing, okay, in clubs. I mean, I walk by 20 clubs and there's 20 different bands that are playing live music all the time, right? So I'm like, this is crazy. But it definitely has a different vibe. Definitely has, and that's a good vibe. I'm not saying it's different as in a bad vibe, but no, it's definitely cool. If you're into country music, like I said, it has a huge footprint of country music. If you're into that, if you're just into music and just musicianship and all that stuff, check out Nashville. I'm just saying, it's definitely a different vibe, and it's as cool as hell. So. But there's something else I'm gonna tell you about Nashville that a lot of people don't even know, that this thing is even there, and you can check it out. And it's all about music, right? Nashville's all about music. So this is a different type of music, but it's there in Nashville, and I will let you know. But you got to tune in to hear. You got to tune in today at 1 o'clock on Air with Russell Hotels. And other things I'll talk about is different hotels. I was mentioning I stayed at the Drury Plaza, right? And everyone doesn't stay at every hotel, right? Every hotel is not for every person or every group. I do hotel site selection. So it's important for me to get out as much as I can to check out hotels, because I never know what my clients are going to want, what they're going to look for, right? And every client is not made the same, right? Just remember that, right? So one client that's, there for a business, meeting or whatever may choose, I'm just going to throw the JW Marriott, right? Now, a sports team may choose the Drury Plaza. It's because the price points are different. You ever wonder why, and I mentioned this yesterday when I did a live, you ever wonder why some of the major companies like a Marriott or a Hilton, even Hyatt and IHG, have so many brands under the main name of, like, let's just use example Marriott. They have 30 brands under that name. Why do they have 30 brands? Because not everyone's going to stay in all those hotels. There's a specific hotel for your need, right? If it's a long-term stay, if I'm going to be there, 5 to 10 days, well, Residence Inn may be more in line for me to stay there, right? If I'm a business traveler, solo business traveler, I'm just there to do some sales calls, maybe a Courtyard. If I'm there for a conference and there's a JW Marriott with 50,000 square feet of meeting space, and there's 100 of us that are going to be meeting there. Well, maybe that's good for that particular hotel. What if it's a convention going on and the Omni is the host hotel? Okay, well then that's Omni's the host hotel, is next to the convention center. But what about the other hotels that are around there? Okay, well, you use those for overflow. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why people use hotels. It's about the price point. The higher end hotels are going to be a higher price. Your sports teams, like your I do groups for EYBL, which stands for Elite Youth Basketball League, right? So maybe they don't want to stay, maybe because the price point is too high, they wouldn't stay at the JW. Maybe they would stay at the Drury Plaza because the price point is lower, or Embassy Suites, because guess what? It comes with breakfast in the morning, although the Drury Plaza does too. But we all know that the Embassy Suites, which is part of Hilton, they have that cook to order breakfast, that kind of thing. So there's reasons why people stay at these different hotels. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that today, although I just let the cat out of the bag just now, right? So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. Let's see, what else? Of course, it's Black History Month. I'm gonna do just to give you a quote from someone in Black History. I will do that. What about the CLIC conference, California Lodging Investment Conference? That's going on. I'll give you information about that too. You know, Mr. Craig Sullivan, that's his thing. He's the CEO and president of that organization. So we're going to talk about that too, or at least I'll give you the dates. And there's other stuff to talk about too. I got many things to talk about. Where am I getting this stuff from? I mean, if you look, let me just show you. So these are things that I'm working on. So you can see me looking at, whatever. So these are things that, that I do as far as getting ready for my show. Oh, it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. There you go. I forgot all about that. So these are things that I go through. These are my topics that I'll cover, and that people think, how does he remember all this stuff? I don't remember anything. All I do is just read a script that I've created for myself, right? This is called Ecamm Live. Okay, so these are all the things I talk about. These are all scenes that I've made, right? So if you can see my mouse going over that, these are all scenes that I've made, and they reflect over here, right? So let me see. Let me click on something right here. Let's say CLIC conference. Boom. See, there you go. So we're talking about, I'll mention these things about CLIC conference. I got Craig Sullivan's name there. He's the founder and what does it say? Founder and president of CLIC. I'll talk about that. I'll give you the dates, all that kind of stuff. So these are things that I do, right? And I get down to what I talk about, some of the things I talk about. But it's all here. It's all scripted, right? So, people always ask me, well, how do you remember this stuff? How does this all work? And blah, 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 blah. Well, I create scenes for myself, right? So all these different things, these are things I'll just talk about as far as different hotels for different groups or different individuals, right? So it doesn't have to necessarily be a group. And I'll give you a little glimpse of the hotel I stayed in. So all those things I will talk about today, on air with Russell of Hotels, live hospitality talk show. So yeah, so those are things that I do. And like I said, it's my job to go out and be a resource. My job is a resource, right? So it's one of the things that I do. So I'm a hospitality personality, right? But I come with a wealth of experience within the hospitality or hotel space. Between 25 and 30 years of experience at 14 different hotels, most of them here in the LA area, but one was in Sacramento, California. But I book business all over, right? I help clients nationally, if not internationally. Last year, I did at least 2 programs that are outside of the country, so Italy and Greece. So, it's not a stretch for me to do things internationally as well, right? So, and why do I tell you guys this? Because I want you to know what I do, just in case I can be a resource to you. I can be a help to you. If you're planning something, maybe you're not sure about contracts. Maybe you're not sure about, well, do I have to sign a contract? I got 10 rooms or more. Do I need to sign a contract? Yes, that's a group. That's considered a group. So you need to sign a contract. What if I only have 8 rooms? Okay, well, then that's not considered a group. You just make 8 reservations. However you make those, you always book direct, right? So those are things that I give advice on. I'm a resource for these things, but you don't know that unless I tell you, right? And because sometimes we as people, we think people know exactly what we do, how we do it, when we do it, right? So my job on social media is to let people know what I exactly do, how I can help you, right? So the hotel site selection part, which I'm pretty much explaining, that's one of the things that I do. That's not everything that I do. I do content creating for hotels and tourism boards. Content creating, like this is creating content. I'm creating content for my own brand, Russell of Hotels. I'm letting you guys know what I do, but I do that for hotels, independent hotels, chain hotels, whatever. It doesn't matter, because every hotel is its own brand. Okay, it doesn't matter if it says Marriott Courtyard on the sign. That's the Marriott Courtyard that's on Main Street in LA. I'm just using that as an example, right? So, but if there's another one in LA that's on Spring Street, well, that's a different brand. Although it's the same name on the building, it's still a different brand because it's a different address. They got different people to work there. The general manager is different. The director of sales, the salesman, all that stuff is different, right? So don't think just because the hotel that has the same name on your building on the other side of town is doing whatever they're doing, it benefits you. It may benefit you because you have the same name, but it's not benefiting you because it's a different location. Okay, does that make sense? because people get caught up in that. Well, the brand does this for me. The brand doesn't do crap for you. Okay, you pay your money, you pay the franchise fee, you may pay a marketing fee, but it's for every brand. It's not just for you specifically. Okay, so hopefully I'm making sense. Hopefully I'm not just wah, 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 wah. But anyway, if I am, I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that. But people need to know that you need to do your own marketing, your own branding for your own hotel. Bottom line, okay? So that's what you need to do. So, but yeah, so those are things that I talk about. Those are things that I do. What else do I do? Obviously, I'm a host of my own show On Air with Russell of Hotels. I also do training for, oh, sorry about that. I do training for general managers for sales. Like say general managers don't have a lot of sales experience. I go through a PowerPoint presentation. I explain the sales process, how it works, what to look for. And if you have a big enough hotel, we have salespeople and a director of sales and salespeople. This teaches you how to manage your sales team. You know, what are they responsible for? What should you be asking for? What should they be giving you? Okay, and GMs need to be more involved in the sales part, right? Don't just leave it to the director of sales to do it. Yeah, that's their primary responsibility. But for you to show up at like say the site inspections and just kind of introduce yourself, that's part of sales, right? That's something that, you know, general managers, a lot of them don't do. They don't show up and introduce themselves. Clients love when the person that's in charge of that hotel actually shows an interest in a group that may possibly book at that hotel. That could be all the difference in the world, right? You don't realize that as a GM, but sometimes GMs say, oh, that's not my thing. I'll stay in my office. What the hell is that gonna do? You ain't booking nothing in there. The fish are biting outside the office. Just remember that, right? Fish where the fish are. Are the fish biting in your office, doing all your meetings and all that stuff? And one thing, you know, I go on tangents, okay, every now and then. Meetings, I mean, we all know that meetings are part of everyday life, right? But I always used to ask myself when I was a general manager, and then I questioned the general manager I used to work for, how much, if I'm a director of sales and marketing, if I'm a salesperson, how many meetings or groups have I booked in a meeting? And I'm like, I can't come up with any, right? So all these meetings that your salespeople, director of sales, you pull into, and then, but at the end of the month, well, you didn't make your goals. Well, but I was in a meeting, you know, for 10 hours this week. Well, that's 10 hours that's taken away from, you know, time with your client, or you trying to respond back to your client, or you sending out promotional material or whatever to try to get somebody to book at your hotel, right? So remember that when we are having all these meetings that lead to another meeting, okay? Because it all happens at every hotel. Don't tell me that every meeting is important, that every person needs to be there, right? If you're a salesperson, you need to have your, I'm sorry, you need to be fishing where the fish are, okay? If that's, you need to be on the phone. If that's, you need to be emailing. If that's, you need to be breaking bread with your client across from you. If that means you need to be attending, you know, shows and things like that, events where you can, you know, let people know about your brand and yourself and, you know, hopefully book some business out there. That's where you need to be in a meeting where, you know, it's not leading to any business. That, I think that's the wrong place to be. I'm not saying that, you know, all meetings you don't need to have, you need to attend. You don't need to attend every meeting. Okay, there's some that you probably do need to attend, but it ain't 10 hours a damn week. Okay, so, and believe me, I hear it, and I'm off property now, right? So I get point of views from a lot of people, from a lot of directors of sales and marketing, a lot of operational people as well. And I just ask them, especially when salespeople, oh, I gotta go, today's meeting day. I said, well, what about, I said, well, how much business are you booking in those meetings? And they like, I catch them off guard. They're like, huh? What do you mean? I'm not booking any meetings. I have to go to a meeting to listen and see what's going on. I said, well, how much business have you booked while being in that meeting? None. And they look at me like they're bewildered. I said, that's my exact point. So why do you have to spend so much time in these meetings when you're missing out on fishing where the fish are. Hey, is what it is. But I'm Russell of Hotels. Those are things I talk about: the good, the bad, the ugly, the sometimes things that make you, why do we do that, or why did we do that? Those are things that I talk about. Okay, so there you go. On air with Russell of Hotels today, live 1:00 PST. Only live on YouTube and LinkedIn, with the replay once again on LinkedIn, YouTube, as well as Facebook and Twitter. So that's it for today. I do these lives every day. I do one on YouTube and I do one on Instagram as well. Okay, so anyway, you guys have a great day. Peace. And I'll see you at 1:00.